Into game number 2, Gen.G going to pick blue side and stick with that side.
Well, Gen.G, they've been known for small champion pools and single strategies. Now they just like comfort. Let's stay where we are. No moves for them. What about in the bans, though? Because we liked Kingzone's bans. They sub out Alessandra. They replace it with Malzahar. I just feel there's always another CC bot in the mid lane for Crown to return to.
There's always going to be something left over. I was actually surprised that they went as far as banning Malzahar here, but I suppose after that game and the reluctancy to actually buy a QSS from anybody on the side of Kingzone, can't really blame them. Also going to finally take away Alistair from Core GG.
Definitely also a choice of changing a lot of stuff, right? If you think of Griffin and their insistence on sticking with the same bans, that's 2 bans changing. I like that they're still banning the Camille. We already talked about how it's a very big flex pick for Gen.G. But right now, it feels like the Urgot blocker is Sion if you want a tank, and Aatrox if you're happy enough with a carry. So Aatrox first pick, but the Lovers bot lane aren't separated, and it's going to be Kingzone DragonX taking them away. You seem a bit surprised, but do consider if there was Aatrox and the Lovers bot lane put together on the side of Gen.G, that'd be pretty scary.
Yeah, you are right. I thought, perhaps leaving Urgot open, you could just have Crown hop on to the Aatrox. But again, how good is he at his Aatrox? Haven't seen it yet. So you might just give that to the comfort you were mentioning up in the top side for Cuvée. Yeah, they're just going to give Zoe to Crown here. He's 3-0 on the pick, and just more and more comfort for him.
But a mid lane assassin is what BDD's been prepping. Yasuo, Irelia, all of them would have been considered, but with the Irelia banned, the Yasuo is the takeaway. Will Yasuo be the science that takes Kingzone to the answering victory in game number 2? I've had the pleasure of watching a lot of BDD on Yasuo in solo queue. He's been relentlessly aggressive, but it definitely hasn't been as clean as you might want. Again, it's solo queue. Maybe he's just testing his limits. It's a pick that had a lot of respect. People were whispering about BDD's Yasuo to me for the better part of a couple of months, but in terms of stage performance, we remain to be convinced.
It's very true. I'm waiting on seeing what Peanut wants to play this time around. Still has so many fans for this guy. We'll see if he can turn it up after the Trundle in game 1.
And who's going to last pick? Because maybe, just maybe, you consider last picking jungle. Not often the way. Usually a Gragas will just come out. But given Gragas is banned, if you go Sejuani, you don't know what might happen. Trundle, Gragas banned away the Sejuani. Among the tier list junglers, it's left open in this particular scenario. The Gragas would have had great synergy with the Yasuo, of course. That's taken away.
Ooh.
Evelynn being hovered, but the Olaf is the dueling jungler you can consider. Let me put this out there. Ning played the Kayn yesterday, and Kayn can go into Olaf, and Kayn is one of Haru's most career play.
It's very true. Always got to think about that in your back pocket. Just want to see what he decides to go for. They're going to save the counter pick for the mid or the top lane here for the side of Kingzone. So it is going to be into that Aatrox, of course, but the Shen is going to be picked up, most likely into the bottom lane for Core JJ. What will we have hopping into the jungle here for Gen.G, though?
Outside chance it'll be a jungle Aatrox, but it's not going to be. It's going to be the skill matchup here. The Lee Sin is, of course, the safer choice than that Kayn, and we see Haru's Lee Sin. Who's hunting who? Because this matchup tends to go big for one side, and the other side goes home.
These guys have been watching some LPL. They say, hey, that Lee Sin pick is actually higher tier over there. There must be something to that. In an aggressive meta, it makes sense. We'll see if Haru can turn up the heat here with a pick like Lee Sin.
Now, top lane required from Kingzone. If they lock in the Urgot, they have no magic damage at all. Really nothing on their side when it comes to magic damage. So this is a very strong mid-game comp that can snowball. You look at the side of Gen.G. In terms of true tanks, they only have the Shen, and it's a support Shen. So it's not going to be the most tankiness, but Kingzone are looking to play around Olaf and get him priority. Lover's bot lane, you'll take in priority. The Urgot and the Aatrox seems about 50-50, and Yasuo can definitely do some dirty things level 3 onwards in mid. To me, this is all going to be about tempo jungling. We had maybe the best tempo jungling series of all time in the grand final of the LCK with Tarzan and Score rocking out that day. I want to see Peanut and Haru, the more aggressive orientation of junglers in Korea, play around their lane pressure, because whenever there's the spot, Lee Sin and Olaf will go hunting.
They're going to go hunting, and I hope that we get some action early on in the game. Should be a very intense game number 2, and as you were mentioning, Kingzone, I think they need to win this one if they want to keep their feet underneath them. Otherwise, Gen.G might just straight up sweep them. We'll see what does happen in here. Worried about Crown into the Yasuo. I think they banned out Yasuo Irelia multiple times up against Griffin, up against Chovy, makes sense, but this time the Yasuo makes it through. They choose to ban out some other things, but can Crown actually do it up against the Yasuo? It's going to be very important for this game.
Last pick Urgot too. How the Urgot has fallen, maybe just for the minute. New stuff on the side of Gen.G. Kingzone DragonX. The Yasuo's the one to keep your eyes on.
That it is, BDD. He wants to be the carry for his team. We'll see if he can do it here. Jumping into game number 2. The countdown has started. Let's do it.
생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
The Gen.G chant getting slightly louder and louder every time they win a game and win a series. We got the purple Aatrox back here, Papa. I know you liked that from the last series.
Cuvée trying to make me a biased caster. I will admit my bias. I'm biased towards that chroma. Looks awesome. Cool to see. I don't know why we faded to black. There's no Nocturne in this game.
That was a real Monkus moment. I have no idea what that was.
I think it was a bad angle, and that he actually went into terrain.
Yeah.
Good stuff there. Well, we're peering over the terrain again and checking out the junglers. Here's Haru walking up. He actually clears out the little Poro that was spotting there, the Ghost Poro. Will there be a late invade? Hasn't really been the meta in Korea in these regionals, but we're going to see just a scouting invade by Khan. This is usually a sign of a creative 3 buff. They've got Olaf. He's starting Raptors. Once again, let's watch that path. Last time I remember Peanut doing this path, he showed up for a very early gank bot lane. But for now, going to be 2 buffs on the top side for Kingzone, and you won't necessarily expect it because there was no leash coming through. The Urgot was spotting as if it was a blue start from Peanut.
Yeah, definitely an interesting start to this one. You can tell that Haru was looking to get aggressive up in the top side and clear out some vision. Will he stay up here or go straight to the red? Interested to see.
So let's talk about what Khan did. That invade, the late invade there, really obfuscates the path from Peanut, and we know that Olaf wants to power jungle on low health. Now there's really no information to Haru about what path Olaf is taking. His first thought is blue side to top side. So we're not going to see an invade from Haru anyway, but it was largely about getting Peanut to 650 gold, to getting his boots, and then having a keystone with the Predator, rather than getting invaded with no keystone against a Lee Sin. So that's very much just some assistance for the jungler to get him started.
Yeah, definitely a nice little start for Peanut. No looking at any of the Scuttle Crabs here for the side of Haru, who actually just went entire top side clear into red buff. And they do have a ward on that Scuttle Crab, so Kingzone do know that the Lee Sin should be down towards the bottom side of the map. Looking for a play into the mid lane here is Haru. We'll see how close he can get. There's that red buff. He has to flash the Trouble Bubble, otherwise he's pretty much dead meat, so already able to get the flash here is Haru.
Nice play, very low kill pressure, but of course very, very likely to blow the flash. And now BDD can't go for the same aggressive Surfs because he doesn't have the flash out available. Gonna have to be more defensive. Rinse and repeat, right? Saw this in game number 1, different matchup. We're seeing it in game number 2. Any little assistance you can give Crown is gonna be so big at getting the lane going, and Crown and Haru were the best buddies when Samsung Galaxy was really rampaging through the regular season, kind of the only time they ever have, spring 2017.
Oh, he got the big
Yeah.
crug. Cuvee going alpha mode into the enemy jungle is able to steal away a hefty amount of golden experience off of that camp.
Means that Ruler and Core JJ can do whatever they want because they know there has to be a full reset, boots, and second jungle item, Talisman, picked up from Peanut. Not going to interrupt him, already had the 650 gold, as we can see.
Definitely just an annoying thing there for Peanut. Is going to get priority on the map here after getting those boots and going back to buy. The Lee Sin Haru should go back after his crux, so a little bit more opportunity to be active for Peanut, who was heading down towards the bottom side.
Core JJ and Ruler walk up. Do note that the CS is very even between the two duo lanes. If you are Varus, you are going to win basically every 80 carry versus 80 carry duel, but there's such an advantage having Rakan over Shen that you would expect there to be at least a tempo lead for Kingzone in the 2v2. We're not seeing that. But with the tempo right now, with the ability to walk up to the lane, Olaf going for a very early Drake take at 5 minutes into the game.
He is going to get away with it, too. There's one ward in the Pixel Brush for Gen.G, but Lee Sin goes top jungle. Gorilla comes on over. Easy smite, and that's an Infernal here to start off game number 2.
If you're wondering as to the why, it's because that's the Olaf gank timing with Predator. So the bot lane of Gen.G's hanging back, worried about the gank. We see Oceans attempted by an Olaf around that time. He goes for the Infernal, is able to pick it up anyway. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, as Gen.G's duo lane, if you don't have your jungler there to help spot.
At the end of the day, it does look like just the Raptors will be taken away and Haru on an aggressive path to the top lane, but already some pings being thrown out as it seems like Khan has a good read on exactly where this Lee Sin should be going.
Has one corrupting potion stack as well. He has his Ian Flash, not very reliable. Take him down, so Haru, after that great mid lane gank, is going to be on a ward. So suddenly his positioning is pretty predictable, and we already talked about how this is feast or famine jungle matchup. See what Peanut can do now that he has even more information about the enemy, as the blue ping comes out to spot Lee Sin, Olaf, I should say, on the bot side.
Saw this early game with that play in the mid lane. Actually, Crown is getting pretty far ahead of BDD now, who has had to play pretty passively after the way this early game did go. You got Gorilla and Peanut, though, now heading towards the mid lane, looking to push this one into Crown.
I think Peanut really needs to stay ahead of the curve. Talked about it in Champ Select. No magic damage on the side of Kingzone. Means the build pass eventually really do lack that same oomph when you only have to look at one type of combat stat to itemize into. So far, so good when it comes to that presence on the map. But really, the timer is against Kingzone. Not in a massive way, because it's not huge tank frontline Ornn and Sejuani kind of game. But still, the pace is on, and Kingzone trying to steal away the blue buff. They did spot Haru here earlier.
They spotted Haru. They know that Crown has to go back as well. It's a pretty easy play. They have the timer on the buff as well. And take a look at that purchase from Crown. Goes for Ninja Tabi immediately, plus the Dark Seal and 2 control wards as well.
Well, he knows his role. That's the thing about Crown. He knows his role. Merc Treads Rush, very common for and against Zoe. Ninja Tabi, control wards. Don't die. Do not be solo killed. Do not allow BDD to hit the side lane with an early 2 items and warp the game. Side lane options, unless the Aatrox can actually duel the Yasuo, are limited. Gen.G want to hit 1 item onto Crown. That 1 item's not Ninja Tabi, by the way. It's Luden's Echo.
Yeah.
And 1 or 2 items onto Ruler and start sieging. They have very strong siege with Zoe and Varus. And anything to interrupt that, anything to work against those timings and allow BDD to hit the side lane is not something they can allow.
Taking a little look down here in the bottom lane, there hasn't been much action, even though the Shen could make some plays at the flash, especially level 6 Lee Sin. I think now that he has his red buff, he might be looking to get aggressive here. Will be spotted, though, on a control ward already. And Peanut is nearby, but Haru, let's see if he can invade, actually, into the blue buff area.
He really wants to take bot side control, because the one thing that's actually worked against Gen.G has been RNG, actually, because it's Infernal into Infernal spawn. Haru is here. The control wards are down. Olaf is doing no counter ganking. Can we see Haru pull off some sick, clean Lee Sin? Or will he be spotted earlier? Gorilla has not put down a ward.
You can tell he's thinking about it, at least playing passively for now, as they seem to have an idea of what's going on. But you got Olaf right over the wall. I think he did use his Q, which was spotted out by Olaf, so nothing doing down in the bottom side. They still have 3 control wards down there trying to make something work, but so far the Lee Sin has been had to be passive after that first gank in the mid lane. Nothing much else doing.
Normally we don't complain about Drake RNG, but when you go all AD and it could potentially be 3 Infernals in a row, that's one of the few ways you can actually be undone. Speaking of being undone.
Uh-oh, Khan trying to solo this, and it's the 3-on-1 right now. You see BDD is not even coming into the river. He knows he's dead. That's going to be easy first blood given over to the Aatrox on the top side.
He had some vision down, but he felt like he was in position to walk down the river. We can see Olaf was bot side. The Yasuo, like you mentioned, couldn't walk over. Seems like just a walk in the park, but we called the first mistake, being in Flash Malzahar range and unforced error. Let's keep with that tennis terminology. That feels like an unforced error as well, coming through from Khan.
And it does. You know, you're having a slow game up in the top side. You see that juicy scuttle crab. You say, hey, I might as well take this. You know, I should be okay. But Lee Sin on the ward, and he continues to go for it. Aatrox from the top side doesn't even get the scuttle crab.
Strange decision from Khan. No priority in mid lane at the time. Cuvée walks down to chase, and Haru's there. Worst case scenario, certainly, but the best case scenario didn't seem worth it. BDD walking up, but the Ninja Tabi, the Summoner's up. No interest in dying from Crown, and he's actually kept up a little bit of a CS lead at the same time.
He's doing really well relatively here. He even has the 1 stack onto the Dark Seal already. Both solo laners for the side of Gen.G seemingly very comfortable in their lanes, especially after the kill now going over to the Aatrox. Cuvée gonna even have more fun up in that top side. We saw what he can do when he gets fed on this pick. I wouldn't expect any less, but here we go. Another Infernal Drake coming down. Gen.G probably not gonna give this one up for free.
No double freebies, you'd think, but right now, is there a ward to go? And okay, it's a pretty shallow ward. Peanut's giving it up, not trying to burst it down.
Haru goes in, though. It looks like, okay, nice double knock up there. Missed engage onto Ruler, who just Chains of Corruptions him in the face. Gorilla gonna be extremely low, but Crown now out of position, has to flash away from this one. Haru eating all the damage from that one. Looking for the kill onto Gorilla. Here is Crown, the shield coming on in. He will be able to take it out. And now the engage, and there's the Aatrox. 2-man knock up into the backside, and Haru able to pick up another kill too. And it looks like Peanut as well is gonna be on the run. This is a total rout now by the side of Gen.G. Defenders come in to save 2 members' life, but 2 kills as well as the Infernal Drake should go the side of Gen.G.
Just feels like a metaphor as CoreJJ actually takes down the Olaf, but everything is falling just short for the side of Kingzone. Gorilla invests his flash, doesn't even get a flash from Ruler, just gets the Chains of Corruption in his face, and where everything falls short for Kingzone, everything's on fire for Gen.G.
Oh, they look so good tonight here. I was worried for Crown and that he got caught, but that was not the case. Cuvée carrying this really hard.
Ruler's on a ward, and look at that AoE. It's just at the feet of Ruler. When the World Championship was up for grabs at the feet of Ruler, he won the game by the flash engage onto Faker in Game 3. In this particular game, the moment that Gorilla doesn't get the engage, he's out of the fight. He gets assassinated. Cuvée is a huge frontliner at this point in the game, and they just roll through and even get that last-second kill onto the Olaf. We missed this. How did he even get there? He's not in vision. CoreJJ just says, what if he's there? And he is. Yeah. Taunt flash, baby. An executioner play by Shen.
Yeah, and Peanut, he has to know. I mean, there was a ward to spot Shen going into the jungle, but he just took the risk anyway, thought there's no way he could die to the Shen, but surprisingly, that does happen from time to time from the Shen, and Even though Xayah did a ton of damage on the retreat, it was just a disengage. There was no kill pressure. She was just doing it to get away from everybody. And now the game is falling heavily to the side of Gen.G.
Now the double to triple Infernal. That win condition is gone. It's 1-1 on Infernals. The scaling, we already know about the single damage type. It's not impossible for Kingzone. You can hit the ground running at 2 items, out teamfight twice, and maybe it never gets to the point where it's relevant. But we got 5 Ninja Tabis in a dream already from Gen.G. And how about Shelly also to put some pressure on BDD?
It's going to be extremely early. Peanut trying to get on top of the Lee Sin here, actually chasing pretty far, and it looks like the knockup comes in, and down will go the Lee Sin, but Cube is so strong right now. He just dunks him in the face, and also Gorilla going to go down to the Lee Sin. Cube still on the chase here. Nowhere for BDD to run or hide. A double kill now to the Aatrox.
Every single Q from this Aatrox, a dagger into the heart of Kingzone DragonX World's Hope. Cuve's gauntlet buff has been so amazing. He's had another just indifferent regular season, but when World's on the line, you know he's going to be there and looking strong.
The Gen.G we all know and love. They won 2 gauntlets in a row. They're looking to win a 3rd one now. We're only halfway through, just the beginning here even of game number 2 in the series, but it already feels that way.
So let's see how this starts. Haru's just putting down Vision. He gets started on by Olaf. He wins that trade. Let's watch it from here. Rakan goes in, gets their man, but watch on the backside. Rakan was like, thank you very much. I'm going to go kill that person. However, Prey's left all alone. He was walking up down the river, and he's in melee range of an Aatrox. You got to think about both sides. You can't just think about killing someone. Your AD carry is nuked to the Netherrealm in 0 seconds.
Definitely felt like an odd decision. I feel like they didn't have all the vision to make a calculated, knowledgeable play there. As you mentioned, they saw someone and they said, let's try to kill that person, but it looked a little bit wonky. Kingzone so far not impressing here in this best of 5. And Haru on the Lee Sin has been, even though he did kind of get crushed in that last fight. He's still putting up the pressure on that play.
Kingzone DragonX, so desperate to get away from the mantra. Everyone knows the name for them now, Valdez. It has some variants, but it's chokers. That's the only word you could use. And the term I think of when I see a performance like this, where the game is there to be won, and it's not just Prey making mistakes. We saw that big mistake from Khan as well. The adage we talk about in Australian sports is downhill skier, which means when the game is a very easy one against a bottom team, they're looking fantastic. When it's a hard one, they need to make plays and they're not working.
Chain of Corruption again, but Ruler has a stopwatch on the backside, but this is a lot of damage. Yep. 4 on 3 right now. Haru gonna get extremely low. He will be able to get out, but nice conversion there by Kingzone.
Need a moment like that. A small moment, but maybe an important one. Brown trying to poke away the minion wave. Got there second and wasn't able to make anything happen. Try to take this turret, try to find something. Kingzone need to reset and get some gold into themselves, but has the damage already been done? The 5 Ninja Tabis were noted before. The 5,000 gold lead is very conspicuous at the top of the screen, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And this time the engage actually works out for Kingzone.
No flash here for Ruler, but he does it again to the Rakan. He is just playing with them right now. It was a 4 on 3. There was no way he was going to survive, but man, that's definitely going to get into the back of the minds here of Gorilla twice in a row now.
He's been really on point with the Chains of Corruption. Very, very impressed by that one. Gotta say, between Chains of Corruption and the W from Shen on top of Ruler, that stuffs a lot of damage coming through from the Yasuo especially. And the short-range physical damage threats. Ninja Tabi reduces auto-attack damage. The Spirit's Refuge just counters them completely.
Yeah, seemed to be a good pick. At that point, they already knew Xayah, Rakan, Yasuo, Olaf, and so they say, even if it's a top lane AP, the Shen gonna be good regardless. Just one of the support champions that were left over as well. We noted that the Alistar was banned away, as well as the Braum in the second stage and the Morgana. We got another Drake coming in here. Crown not in the best spot, has to use his real flash as he was a little bit too aggressive there.
They want to be a bit more slow and steady with their setups here. They got Zoe Varus, and The summoners are now down on both. There's a lot of different creative angles that Kingzone can find and engage on, and Gorilla has his flash. But if you make the wrong engage and don't get your man, you lose inhibitor at pre-20 minutes. So Kingzone need to be proactive. They're set up to be proactive with those summoners being down on Crown and Ruler. However, the downside is certainly there.
Gen.G corralling them right now. Level 13 Cuvee over level 10 Peanut is doing that work. Uh-oh. Okay, Prey. Crown just says, get the hell away from here. This is our Mountain Drake, and after 2 members get chunked, not much you can do. Also pushing in the top lane here for Gen.G, so really good map movement for them right now.
I always like to talk about my meanwhile ats, but the Observer's doing it for us. Everything is stacking up for the side of Gen.G. And the moment you're saying engage or you lose your window to a team that was 5,000 gold behind, it lets you know that Kingzone are in a really desperate spot. We were already mouthing about how low their percentage would be to reverse sweep, given all the out-of-game factors that have worked against Kingzone since they went to MSI. Already this game seems so tricky for them. And we're not going to be seeing a high damage Yasuo build either. He's going Sterix, he's going for just a bit of staying power, but will the game even be there to be won by the time his 3rd item is complete for the Yasuo?
I feel like the biggest thing they have to worry about right now is level 14 Cuvee 3-0-1. What do you do when you have, you know, a squishy support? You have the Yasuo who's not tanky. That's part of the reason why you went to Sterix. If any kind of flank comes in from the Aatrox, we're going to see a lot of members die here. Core JJ, not in the best spot, but is able to taunt his way over the wall. Should be fine.
I don't have an answer for you. That is a proposition that sounds really scary because, like you say, they're just not set up to deal with something like this big an edge. He has Death's Dance already. My God, Ninja Tabi, Death's Dance, a bit of health from the Black Cleaver.
He won't die.
He leeches a whole hell of a lot from his Q, especially as well in a team fight. So, yeah, you just lose. So maybe fight where he's not.
We'll see how that works for them. We got teleport right now on Cuvee, so if any fight breaks out, I guarantee he's going to be there. Right now, he's actually just running at the enemies, as nobody can quite get close to his level. He's 2 levels over anybody on the side of Kingzone, only BDD and Khan at level 12 right now.
Problems of their own creation. They only have Rakan for the setup reliably. Also, Khan is going to be able to set up the last breath, but Rakan is certainly the one who you want for that. Haru just takes Lee Syndrome. Q, he doesn't care.
Yeah, he's going in.
Oh, baby!
Okay, that's an interesting play. VDD gonna get extremely low on the backside, and he does go down. Cuvee just zoning out Khan, and here he is into the back line. The flash taunt on top of Prey. He is able to get out of that one, but not anymore, as the trouble bubble and the giant monster ran at him and got the kill. Gen.G so far ahead. Let's see what they do from here.
Haru's Lee Sin IQ doubled in a second. He went from 100 IQ Lee Sin to 200 IQ with jumping over to get the Yasuo into the mid.
Yeah.
They take Yasuo down. They're on the Baron. Haru himself, though, pretty low on health.
Now he's a 50 IQ Lee Sin, struggling to stay alive underneath the Baron, but he'll be there for the smite. Peanut just trying to get some vision, throwing in some axes. Haru now has some of that health, looking to burst it down. There's the flash taunt to make sure he gets it. The smite, though! Oh, no! Peanut able to get over the wall, but everybody else should be going down here. The flash on over for Khan. Just the chase coming in here. BDD and Prey coming on up, but BDD maybe a bit off a little bit too much, buddy. It's 1v5. The Yasuo not gonna survive. It's science, baby, as he goes down.
Somehow, it's been a year since the last time, and nothing has changed. We're looking at a 3-0 for Gen.G this time, after the 3-0 that surprised everyone against Longzhu Gaming for Samsung. They're running over them, and even a Baron steal from Peanut isn't going to change the 7,000 gold lead.
Not much you can do. It looks like it was smited a little bit early. I saw 100 health as Peanut got in there and got the smite down.
Well, watch this one. Haru low on health to start, of course. He gets the heal from Crown, so it means he has a bit of health. Thought like it's going to be clean. The interruption comes in, but Peanut's in the pit at 1,400. Let's watch for the first smite. Yes, too early and then claimed from Peanut, who didn't smite. He actually just took it down with, I believe, his reckless swing. He takes it down. That true damage is much smaller, but ends up being enough. And then BDD, just like when he was over-eager on the Syndra against Malzahar in Game 1 of the World's quarterfinal, why is he diving in now? The fight's over, mate.
He was the only one with Baron left, too. Actually, the Xayah Prey did not come up in time to get the Baron buff, and so even though they steal it, they get the gold. There's less pushing here from Gen.G. Nobody on the side of Kingzone can use that to defend, and it's still a landslide right now going to the side of Gen.G. They're 7,000 gold ahead at 23 minutes. Definitely looking even more one-sided than game number 1.
The person who looks the most against expectation is BDD, and he needed to be their hard carry today. He's been so wonderful in the second half of the season. We're going to look over some of the Spo TV history here, looking at Cuve's involvement, and Cuve and Haru linking up in general. Haru has been outstanding in this particular game on the Lee Sin. You don't think of him as the top-tier Lee Sin player in Korea. Spirit and Peanut probably more famous on that one, but he has been great in this game. The pressure is on, and Kingzone DragonX, they got to win every team fight triumphantly, otherwise this game is just going to straight up end.
Haru showing that, hey, you can ban away my Camille. Yeah, you can take away other picks. I still have Lee Sin in my back pocket. It's just an annoyance for them because they got the Olaf. They were comfortable about taking that away from Haru after game number 1, but not really the case, as he's looking really good. And once again, the Aatrox first pick here for Cuve. Let's see if he can go 1v2, though. Doesn't look very likely. He's going to be ulted in over the wall, and not much else. Actually, we got Xayah coming in here to try to help out. He wanted to try to burst her down, but it's not going to happen. Converting on a kill, but a kill for Infernal Drake, that's going to be worth every time.
Definitely accepted his own fate. Wasn't even looking for a 1-for-1. Just tried to get away and couldn't do so. Everything connects from the side of Kingzone, but a kill for an Infernal Drake. You definitely take the Infernal, as Gen.G are the rich. They're getting richer. And unfortunately, Kingzone on welfare, and the Ninja Tabis are already a bad sign. Gotta say, though, Ninja Tabis are kind of the tax this game, like the QSS was last game. And Gen.G, they've always been about dotting their I's, crossing their T's. Don't think any of these guys are going to be caught for tax evasion anytime soon. They're looking comfortable in Kingzone. They're going to need a really big set of players this game. I don't think one is going to be enough.
Not sure who picked up the shutdown on the Aatrox, but if it was the Xayah, that would have been really nice, actually. You get a hefty chunk of gold after 4 kills onto an Aatrox, or onto anyone, really. So we'll see where that gold did go. Kind of cuts it down to 6,000 instead of 7,000, which is decent. But as we mentioned, the Infernal Drake going to be more worth in terms of stats and gold overall.
And Gen.G is setting up a makeshift frontline. Double Randuin's going to come out of Lee Sin, and also the Aatrox. Takes a lot to dissuade Haru from going full damage, but if you go the Randuins, you have a slow and a kick when you get into the back line. He's already found some very smart engages in this game, so definitely not a hater on the build, and it's one of the ways to shut down Yasuo from getting the first kill and actually trifle with Yasuo and the Xayah without just being exploded. Sitting on a ward right now at Gen.G. They don't have full control of the red side jungle of Kingzone just yet.
Yeah, they're kind of standing on a triangle, a plethora of red wards right now. They don't seem to care, as nobody's got a sweeper available right now. Actually, only Shen has one.
Very notable, actually, to go so few sweepers. Usually this relies on just some big outplays, a really big pick from someone like Haru, because you're not bringing the enemy to you. You're saying, hey, we need to know where you are to come and kill you.
Well, the push is on here from Gen.G. They're going to get that top inner turret extremely low. Cuve was just threatening, level 16, very fearsome at this moment. Crown, though, kind of face-checking himself against 2 members, but even so, with the rest of Gen.G nearby, he is going to be safe. No collapse here from Kingzone.
Minion wave really far away for the Aatrox, so actually some time going to be needed. Warning pings put down. There's a standing gold inner turret at the top side, but more important for Cuve to bring down that minion wave and get himself most of the way towards a Randuin's on the way. Here's Haru, continuing to play around with the Olaf. Advantage Haru in the matchup. Advantage Gen.G in the first 28 minutes, the double Infernal. A lovely Cementer, and look at Ruler. He's gone on board a Guardian Angel. If we know anything about third item Guardian Angel, it's to close the door on an enemy team.
That's saying that even if you commit everything you've got, literally everything, to kill just me, even then, I'm not going to go down. It stacks the armor, too. Everybody on the side of Gen.G is building a hell of a lot of armor. And, I mean, we said it before, at about 17 minutes, the game already looked over. We talked about this full 80 composition. Definitely that door is being shut. There's only a tiny little crack left open here for Kingzone. And now with the Baron about to respawn, they're going to have an even stronger team fight this time around.
You get the theory behind Kingzone's comp against Ambition, because you think about him farming and doing not much, you think, let's speed him in the mid game and they'll never even scale up. But when Haru is playing and willing to pick Lee Sin and skill matchups very early in the game, can that door be snapped shut? You're not even feeling a cold breeze if you're Gen.G. You're saying, well, we actually outbrawled you when you were supposed to be strong and snowballing. Your snowball never happened. And now you're in a scenario where that playmaking means that a couple of kills here, this game could be over. Speaking of kills.
Oh boy, they have vision onto this guy, and Gorilla just gonna have to flash away, but the Ignite is ticking down alongside the red buff. And here's the Randuin spray. Is just desperately trying to get away, but there's the flash taunt coming on in from poor JJ. He is making quick work of this Kingzone team. 3 of them gonna go down instantly, and the rest of them just in the base. They're diving at this point. They don't even care about this one. Gotta be going super deep past all the turrets. They get 3 kills. Now they're looking at the Baron.
Gen.G playing like they got 8 p.m. dinner reservations to 6:40 p.m. by the way in Korea. Lets you know they're not looking for it to go long. They're gonna bounce over. How about a Baron 2? As Crown says, wait, I actually can't get over that wall. It's not gonna be a problem though. He's gonna patrol. The Baron is gonna go down. And it feels like Kingzone DragonX are gonna follow the Baron very shortly.
This is not the matchup you wanted to see for Kingzone, having to go up against Gen.G, but Gen.G living true to their name, the killers of Kingzone right now. The trouble bubble as the bait onto Crown was actually a bait onto Gorilla.
Could Ruler just miss one ultimate to make us feel human, because everything is connecting this game. And then Core GG comes back. He took a bit of a sleeping break and he decides, why don't I get both the carries? Takes down Peanut, takes down Prey. Nothing doing for Kingzone DragonX, and BDD may not be the first man in, but he tries his best to get out. He knows there's nothing he can do.
I love Haru going so deep behind the inhibitor too. He's having a blast, I'm sure you guys can tell. The junglers, they beg their coaches for sure. Hey, can I play Lee Sin? Can I get aggressive? Please not Sejuani again. Haru just going off on this Lee Sin, and his coach gonna think twice the next time he asks him.
This game doesn't end. Does Gen.G go perhaps the most bad manners play and have everyone go Ninja Tabi Guardian Angel? Because they're going to have 3 of them.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Zoe with Guardian Angel keeping the manners going. But speaking of manners,
Cuvée gonna just dodge this ultimate engage from Gorilla, just saying, oh, hello. And now he's going 1v5, actually. Look at Prey's health, just 1 auto. Looks like 850 damage as Prey is now pretty much out of the fight. The Baron push is in effect. As Gen.G, they're looking to close the door shut this time around.
well, the game end on this push. Ruler tanks up. He's got armor. He's fine. Haru patrolling. He has no flash, but you know he's thinking about his insect if he can pull it off.
Look at Cuvée too, just level 18 in the front line. Nobody can touch him at this point. Even Crown, he's got a fully stacked Dark Seal. If you were asking for the Guardian Angel, I'd be happy with the Mejai's at this point. You know, a little bit of BM, but hey, it's not so bad if you're not gonna die. But Gen.G just looking for that tutorial victory, a giant push in the top side. What can Kingzone do? Doesn't look like much here as Court JJ looking for another engage, and there's the trouble bubble onto Rule, or rather Prey. He's gonna be taken around by the backside, and down you go, as Gorilla was not able to block for that one. And there you have it, Cuvée going 1v3, gonna Randuin's everybody just for the effect. Finally, Gorilla hits a grand entrance for the first time, and there you go, GG. Game 1 goes to Gen.G.
Gen.G do not often style on their opposition, but they were styling all over Kingzone DragonX. They seem to be the only predators on the map. Seem like helpless sheep to Kingzone. 1 by 1 do they fall, making some mistakes, not respecting vision, and by the end, just getting rolled over. Gen.G have played themselves into form, their 12th game in 3 match days spread over 6 days, but they haven't missed a trick. They do not look exhausted. Kingzone and DragonX seem to be wearing their emotions a lot clearer than their opponent.
It's very true. This doesn't look like the final round of the gauntlet. It looks like maybe the first round is Kingzone. Definitely a bit of disappointment for everybody who's watching them. Not the best draft, not the best play out there in that game. Started off well, you know. Peanut got aggressive. He took the Infernal Drake, was looking for plays in the bottom side, but then all of a sudden, everything just fell apart and Gen.G got way too far ahead.
It's going to have to be some of the veterans, Prey, Gorilla, picking up the troops and resetting their mental for game number 3. The reverse sweep is always a possibility. We've seen them, but I don't think the betting markets will stay open for whether we'll see it today. It doesn't feel likely, Valdez.
Well, guys, let's take a look at the results here. This is about as one-sided as it gets. Somehow, Prey was able to out-damage Ruler in the fight, but it didn't matter. Take a look at that Yasuo damage. Just BDD not able to do anything in this game at all. Couldn't even do damage in the lane.
And the scale here is actually relevant. It was 5,000 gold lead at 15 minutes against the team that needed to snowball. That 5,000 gold went into Ninja Tabis, then Guardian Angels, Randuins, and there was no way back in. 4,700 damage for the Yasuo. Definitely not enough.
Well, guys, we're going to go to a break, and after that, we'll find out if Kingzone can get the Miracle Reverse Sweep. Stay